Cam Heyward wants more money, and I don't know if the Steelers are going to give it to him. But if he really wants that extra dollar, if he's really persistent about it, maybe I heard Arch Manning is taking Venmo requests. Maybe Cam could send a Venmo request to Arch Manning. On second thought, maybe don't. Because I don't know if money is going to be the only thing involved in that transaction. You may be signing up for more than what you bargained for. Anyway, Cam did address his hold-in yesterday. We first heard of Cam doing this and being limited in practice because he wants a new contract last week. It was the end of last week, Schefter reported it, but we haven't heard from the man himself yet, but yesterday we did.
Looking for my contract to be addressed. Honestly looking to be valued in my eyes when I look around and, at my position. I think I'm 22nd as a D-Tech on 36 as a D lineman. And I know what I bring to this team and what I'm capable of on and off the field. And so it's hard for me to, after the year I've had, to really justify playing at the number I'm playing at. I understand I signed a contract last year. But to be completely honest with you, when I signed that, I told them, when I have an all-pro year, expect me to come back. And you can look at the contract and see what it was, but I think everybody kind of giggled a little bit, but in my heads, I used it as motivation to go out there.
All reasonable explanations. And I'm going to say what I said last week. I'm kind of with Cam on this one. I know this isn't really like me. Usually when it comes to this contract stuff, I'm always trying to have the player take the team-friendly deals or, just accept that it's a business and it is what it is. It's a blessing to be playing in the Steeler uniform. But I don't know why. Not really this one. I get what Cam's saying here. I really do. You're coming off of that all-pro season. You already took a team-friendly deal last year. And you're extremely underpaid compared to your contemporaries at your position. So TJ got his deal. We paid a bunch of outside guys. So why not at least get a little bit of a pay bump? Why not at least get a little bit more guaranteed money for this year? And then even more so, after hearing that he tried to take care of this back in February, like behind the scenes. So it's not like this is something that's just popping up in August, right, as we're about to gear up for the season. And he said he'd come back to the table. He was up front with Omar Khan and the Steelers. He said he'd come back to the table if he had an all-pro season. And they laughed at him. But he did get that all-pro and had one of the better seasons of his career last year. So he is getting underpaid. He's still one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. He is. He's one of the top three. I mean, you could have Chris Jones at one, and then after that, there's a debate for two, and Cam Heyward has a case for being two based off what he did last year. I'm not talking over the past 5 to 10 years. I'm talking like right now. Last year, Cam Heyward was all-pro. That means he's one of the top 4 or 5 best guys in the league. Now, the rebuttal is, unfortunately, you don't solely get paid on what you did do last year. It's also, what are you going to do for me this year? And you're another year older at 36, and it's kind of unprecedented for Cam to keep playing this way that he has. It's credit to him. I wouldn't be completely shocked if he has another all-pro season or Pro Bowl season, but it's not typical. Almost like the running back conversation, unfortunately, where a running back could have 400 carries, 1,800 yards the previous season, and he's looking for a new contract, and his production and his workload is held against him because it's just more wear and tear on the body, and we know how running backs typically age. And, it's kind of like that with Cam. In a way, I mean, he's aging like fine wine. Some of these interior defensive linemen can do that. But to make an all-pro again at 36 and then do it again at 37. So, yeah, I could see the Steelers thinking, man, you had that good season last year, good production, but it's like you're another year older, and that was last year. And I guess, too, Cam, in the Steelers' defense, Cam could have not signed the contract last year. Could have played hardball. He could have, either requested a trade or played out the season on the one-year deal, and then he would be a free agent this offseason and potentially hit the bank, hit the market. So I don't know. Yeah, there's multiple ways to look at this. Omar Khan ain't going to be giving in that easy. It is business. Shouldn't be taken personal, but I also wouldn't blame Cam for taking it personal. Given he's been here for a while, he feels like he wants to be more valued, but the Steelers are probably saying to him, we have valued you. We've given you a ton of contracts over the years, and you're paid pretty decently. It's just, for Cam, he's probably looking and saying, man, my timing's just a little bad, but there's nothing he could do about it because inflation's naturally happening with the NFL, and the salary cap and the numbers just continually go up. So he's at the back end of his career still producing. The numbers are getting crazy for players that are in their mid-20s and in their prime. But Cam's playing just as good as him. He's just unfortunately, 36. Whereas, he got his big contract or two in his prime 5, 6, 7 years ago, but the numbers weren't the same, and he's probably looking around at what some of these other defensive tackles are getting and man, they're getting these 4 or 5 year deals for double or triple what I was getting just back 5, 6 years ago, but I'm still playing better than them. What gives? What can we do here? It's tough, man. It's definitely tough. I think what it comes down to, and this is my question, it would be to Cam. It's just, what do you want? What's your priority here? What do you really value? Is it getting the pay bump? Is the extra? Because if I'm the Steelers, whatever Cam's guaranteed this year, I think it's off the top of my head, it's 13 or 14, somewhere 13, 14, 15 million. He's guaranteed, or he's set to make this year. Guaranteed up front. If I'm the Steelers, you're not giving that much more. You're not giving extra years on the contract. You're not throwing an extension out. I think we could bump the pay up to maybe something close to $20 million. We can afford it. I think that would still be respectable for Cam, even though he would still be getting, I think, underpaid compared to some of the other D tackles in the league. But again, it's just it's where you're at your career. 36 years old. Look at what Aaron Rodgers is getting paid. The guy that you kind of questioned early on this offseason of whether or not he wants to be a Steeler. It's I don't really got a pitch for him. It's it's either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. Aaron Rodgers is playing for $13 million. Are you kidding me? Compared to other quarterbacks and what they're getting paid right now, even at 41. But I think he has some self-awareness that and that's the thing with Rodgers. He could be getting paid 1 year $40 million, and that would be fair. I think that would be more than fair. 1 year $35 million compared to what these dudes are making. But again, it's just what do you want? Rodgers just wanted to play football. That's what he wanted. Wanted to play football, wanted to play for the Steelers, wanted to play for Coach Tomlin. And the contract reflects that. He said it on McAfee before he even signed, and then ended up signing for 1 year, $13 million. It's absolutely insane. Tom Brady back in the day, with the Buccaneers, he was getting paid around $25, $30 million per year, which was a bargain compared to other quarterbacks at the time. And then he restructured deals throughout the process, took less, all that stuff. He just wanted to continue to play football, have good players around him, be in contention. So is it just the money? Because we could afford it. We could do it. I mean, the team will still be intact. It's not going to cost us drastically. But is it worth it? Going through the pomp and circumstance and, doing the hold in and having to address the media, talk about it. Now the conversation's about you as opposed to the team. Is it worth it for the extra however many mil? Is that really going to make you feel valued? Is that really going to be it? Or is the damage already done? Because that's what I mean. What I'm hearing is there might be some resentment here. There might be some, like, the Steelers have taken me for granted, which there's a case for that. No doubt about it. Because even last year when he was looking for that extension, looking to, what did he say? He's like, I want to play 3 more years and want to bump in my pay and all that. I want to be paid like one of the top guys. He still ended up taking a team-friendly deal. But at the time, there were question marks. Cam was coming off his worst season, was banged up, 35 years old. You're wondering, are you really going to be getting better? And he did. He proved him wrong. Like, all credit to Cam for doing that. Unfortunate, the story that Steelers laughed at his face whenever he said, I'm getting all pro and I'm coming back to the table. And I think he's right for doing that. 100%. So that's what I'm just wondering. It's like, throughout all this, over the last couple years, you're saying you want to feel valued. Is it really going to be that, let's say we give him an extra $4 or $5 million? Is it really going to be that makes you feel valued? And it takes all this to do it? Or is it you just want the money? If you just want the money, that's fine. But then it's like maybe impeding a little bit with our Super Bowl quest here, being all in as a team. If it gets done, fine, whatever. But Cam did say he's willing to sit out games, so that obviously doesn't help the team win a Super Bowl. What do you want? I think that's my question. What do you want? Do you want to be a Steeler or you don't? Because if Omar plays hardball, and that's a high probability. Omar plays hardball. He's not trying to just give money away. Then maybe you are at a crossroads, and it's like, do you want to play? Steelers aren't budging, but are you going to be out there? It's all about what you want. What do you prioritize? Jamar Chase last year, he wanted his contract. He was pissed off about the money, but he was out there for his team. And I'm not saying there's one way is wrong or the other. It's your prerogative. But I think with the camps, it's been a little bit mixed messaging, right? That's all. But if he was trying to do it behind closed doors back in February, I can't knock him for that. And he probably thought a deal was going to get done at some point, and those Aaron Rodgers comments weren't going to come back to haunt him. But now we're sitting here in August, a month away from the regular season starting, and he doesn't have that new deal that he was asking for. So that sucks for him. But I'm kind of on his side, even though I've gone through both sides here in a way. Cam balled out last year, and he did take that team-friendly deal. Ultimately, he could have decided not to, as I said, not take the team-friendly deal, play on a one-year deal. But that would be interesting, honestly. I think that would be the most interesting thing that would have taken place, is if he just played out last season on that one-year deal, played how he did. What would be his market this offseason if he was on the open market? How much would a team be willing to pay him per year, and for how many years? Because, as I said, I don't think it would be more than like $20 million, and that would still be a really good deal for whatever team that Cam's on. Self-awareness. I think you got to understand where you're at in your career age-wise. If you got some quarterbacks that, like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, that get up there in age, and certain teams don't really want to deal with an aging quarterback, they want to focus more on the future, or they want to have a guy more in their prime and have, a vision or plan for years beyond the current season, then, your options start to become limited. Aaron Rodgers' option this offseason was only the Steelers. Understood that. Said, I want to play football. I don't care. This is your offer. I don't care about the money. I want to play football. This is a good opportunity. I want to win a Super Bowl. Let's do it. Tom Brady. I think whenever he left New England, it was how many teams? Maybe handful of teams that were really interested in him like that. Buccaneers, one of them, looked at that, said, you guys are the best opportunity. This contract, given what I've done and who I am, a little bit less than what I probably should be getting paid. But hey, let's do it. That's it, man. I don't know if I got much else for today's show. Just, I wanted to go over this Cam situation. I think I looked at it from every angle I could. Where are you guys at, though? I think it gets done. It's going to get done. It's just Why now? Is there anyone else out there, any other Steelers that want a new contract and are unhappy? Just let us know now before we get closer and closer to the actual season starting. Because once the season starts, Steelers have their hard deadline. You know not to mess with that. No contract talks when the season starts. Anyone else, though? Anyone else step up? I know Boswell's one of them. So, yeah, Boswell, let's figure out that. Let's get that done. Anyone else? Calvin Austin. Some people are making up some Calvin Austin conspiracies now. That he's been injured with an undisclosed injury and been sitting out over the last couple weeks. It's going back to Friday Night Lights. Conspiracy that he's holding out because he wants a new contract. And then some people on Twitter yesterday are bringing up like a court docket that his dog, something about his dog getting in an altercation with another dog he's got to take care of. But like that happened back in where the fuck do people even find that at? Why are people even bringing that shit up? But the Calvin Austin injury, I will say, like, it is weird. Undisclosed injury, just randomly been sitting out the last 2 weeks. Not really any sign of him getting back on the field. Very weird. I think the conspiracy about the contract thing's just, it's nonsense. Like, Calvin Austin has zero leverage in that, trying to get a new deal, sitting out. Like, no, you got to prove a little bit more. And he should want to, too. Like, if he has a good year, if he gets like 800-900 yards this year, he'll get a good contract from someone. Either Steelers would franchise tag him. I mean, that would be buku bucks for a year, all guaranteed money, or you're out there on the open market. Someone will pay. Someone will give you $15-20 million per year at least for that. I could see him, wanting some security. Maybe a little 3-year deal, $10 million or something, but I don't know. He doesn't really have leverage in the situation. I don't think so. And that would be weird too. That would be really random. All of a sudden, again, almost like the Cam stuff. All of a sudden we're hearing about this. All of a sudden we're hearing you want a new contract. Why didn't we know? Why wasn't this taken care of in April? Why wasn't this taken care of in May? But again, Cam, apparently him and his agent were trying to back in February. It's just, again, what do you want? What do you want? You didn't exactly get the answer you want. Do you just stay quiet about it? Or do you make a scene and be like, no, I'm standing firm. I'm going for this. And now this is a point of conversation. So that's it for today's show. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chilling. Peace.